How are you?
I'm well. How are
I am
you?
excited about being here with you.
Well, this is exciting for me because I mean we've talked over Zoom, and you have. I just want to start from the beginning because you were here, but you got your break into the entertainment business. Just tell us more about your start.
Well, of course, I started with elementary school here at Bailey Gassert, Washington Junior High School, and I graduated from Cleveland High School. But actually, when I was in junior high school, a man named Nate Long took 8 of us out of the ghetto, so to speak, and taught us media, film writing, script writing, excuse me, uh, working behind the cameras, editing, the whole thing we were able to accomplish. And we married with King Screen, as a matter of fact. If you remember that, I don't know if they still have it now, but yeah, we started in the media. Then in high school, I started an African drum ensemble. And after that, I went to University of Washington, and just so happens that a couple of my friends had been taking dance already. They're, I consider, the pioneers of dance here in Seattle. Marvin Tunney, uh, Stanley Perryman, and Anita Littleman. We all went to Los Angeles with Donna McHale. He needed dancers to come down because he was doing a Lola Falana show. And so they left to do that show. And so he needed to replace his dance company. So that's how I got down to Los Angeles at 19. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, and then it seems like the opportunities just took you by whirlwind because you got to be on so many different stages. Tell us how it began to progress once you touched down in LA.
Well, I was dancing with the Inner City Repertory Dance Company. And from there, actually, I came back to Seattle and became the head of the Black Arts West Dance Department. But I stayed there only for a couple of years, and I went back to Los Angeles and I got my first Broadway show. It was a mad audition, as a matter of fact. They had every celebrity there auditioning for the show. And I really didn't think I was going to get it because it was one of those shows where they had Leslie Uggams as the lead. Clifton Davis had That's My Mama's Show on TV. He was in it. Judy Pace Mitchell was in Ironside. She was in the show. And Adam Wade had a TV game show. He was the first Black TV host. So I got that show. And so it was called Guys and Dolls. We did it in Las Vegas, and I became dance captain. And after that, that choreographer, Billy Wilson, hired me for everything. I went to Europe with him, uh, did Amsterdam, Paris, London. So that was the beginning of my venture out, really, to bigger things.
Wow. I mean, the snowball effect of it all, to think that you were here, going to school here, just, hey, and then a few friends, oh, they're doing dance too. And like, all right, let me pick this up. But it also is really telling of your commitment and your talent. I mean, you don't get picked up like that if you don't have the dedication. Speak more to us about how you really honed in on your craft of dance.
Well, I really thought about, the fact that if I stayed in Seattle, my chances were not going to be good in really being successful. So my determination really was to, at all costs, to try to be the best that I could be, so that I would be able to do those gigs that my other friends were doing. Stanley and Marvin went to Dance Theater of Harlem and Alvin Ailey. And Sarita Allen also, she was from here. She went to Alvin Ailey also. As a matter of fact, she was the principal dancer on every poster, and she's from Seattle. See, that's one of the things that kind of bothered me. That here it is that you have these great people that have come out of Seattle, and very few people know of them as being the fine talent that they were. But yeah, in my second Broadway show, I played opposite with the great Cab Calloway. He played the senior, and I played the junior in the Broadway show. So I've got to work with some great celebrities. That's part of being able to appreciate your craft and give you that confidence to really go out there and say, "Oh, I'm among my peers," So yeah, it's been quite a journey for me. Then becoming a choreographer and working with Diana Ross and Cher, and as well as Donna Summer, Lionel Richie, Dionne Warwick. I mean, it's been a very fruitful life for me within the entertainment industry.
Well, there's something to be said because I heard when you mention your name in the entertainment community, folks know you and they know your work. But that's really a testament to, again, your work being at a high level. And like you said, you just talked about that dedication. You knew that you wanted to be in these shows, and ultimately you gave everything you could to be in these shows. When we think about this level of dedication now, I think young people really need to hear this message. I mean, even some that are not so young, right? But just hearing the message of how these kinds of opportunities really pay off over time when you stay consistent and dedicated. What are some of those messages? I know you've been connecting with youth. What are some of those messages that you've been really looking to make sure that they understand when they walk away from their time with you?
Well, mentoring is so important. That's really what saved me here in Seattle. I had mentors, those who we didn't have the opportunities as many have now with the many different organizations that come out for youth to supply them with the things that may be needed to give them that impetus to be great. Well, we had little ragtag places that we go to, I mean, just little centers. Black Arts West was one, Sanctuary Motivation Camp was one, but at the same time, it didn't have that uh, expertise.
Yeah.
So there were just neighborhood people that would get kids together and do talent shows and things like that. But you felt like you were really loved and appreciated, and people were committed to helping you see that it was possible. And so that's the same thing I wanted to do in giving back to young people, is coming back to Seattle and doing different projects, with Edna DeGray. She had Iwagio. I did some things for P&B because they were doing their outreach. They needed us, what I mean, to get funding. So yeah, they did an outreach program and I participated in that. But there are so many other projects that I would love to do for young people who are at risk, who don't have the opportunity for someone to sponsor them, and we need that kind of interest. So that's why we started in Los Angeles. We started the Chocolate Nutcracker. Debbie Allen, myself, and Laverne Reed. We put that together, and that kind of started a whole movement, really, because it was actually trying to put Black people and Black young youth into programs where they can see themselves, as Claire, and the rest of the different characters in the Nutcracker, but take them to different places, like Africa, Jamaica, Brazil, and the kids just thrived on it. Misty Copeland was one of the kids that benefited from being a part of the Chocolate Nutcracker. Now she's with ABT. Most people know who she is. Uh, Calvin Royal III, he's with ABT also, but again, he started with us from Florida. So we've been able to take that show around to Miami, to Ohio, and it's amazing the kids that have come from under that tutelage. Megan Good, the actress, she started with the Chocolate Nutcracker. So it's beneficial that we give back to our youth, that we bring them up, that they can understand that you're doing it, I can do it.
Well, I love that you call out some of these amazing institutions. I mean, Black Arts West. I got to be a part of new Black Arts West theater when Miss Kabibi Monet continued that legacy of Black Arts West. And honestly, I think about some of those institutions for me, Langston Hughes and Black Arts West. And shout out to Justin Emeka at Garfield High School while I was there. A phenomenal actor and director now. And and just a phenomenal teacher. So some of those mentors for me, I always go back to that because they really allowed for me to understand my creative level, right? And as a young person, I knew I'm like, oh, I want to learn, acting, modeling. I'm going to do all the things. But really having those integral parts along the way to keep me on the journey or to keep me understanding my own talent was really key. So I love how you talk about that. When you think about where some of these amazing folks come from, a lot of the times it's with these phenomenal foundational institutions, right? That really are embedding that message. And so we need them all, right? We need
Exactly.
them all. For me, the ones that where you feel loved are the ones where you grow the most, to be
Right.
honest, because that gives you the strength to go out there for those auditions where you may be the only Black kid there and you got to show up and show out, right? And so
Exactly.
I remember some of those experiences early on in my acting career, like auditioning and what that felt like for me. But when you think about some of the things that you really want to do now, I mean, you were talking about mentorship, you're talking about just the story of sharing what you were able to go through in your personal journey. What are some of those things that you really look forward to as you continue on? I mean, are you doing more choreography? You still involved in the dance world? Tell us more.
Well, we have another show in Florida. As a matter of fact, we were going to try to do it here in Seattle, and I'm still hoping that we will have that process of being able to develop that show here. But yeah, we're still out there bringing this performance value to the young people that we meet that are, again, they don't have the opportunities sometimes, to go to private dance schools and pay $400 a month, what I mean, for classes. So yeah, we bring them in, we give them an intense training. We set them up with professional dancers from Ailey or different dance companies so that they can see that they can be a part, even in a show where maybe they're not doing the lead, that imagination of dreaming that, yeah, I'm going to get there. That's so important. So they can see their brilliance. Just like I was saying to you, I mean, you're amazing to me. What you do, I mean, I couldn't do, but at the same time, it's a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And it's something about folks who have fed into my gift that allow for it to flourish today. Earlier, you mentioned ABT, and some folks out there may not know this amazing dance company. Tell us what ABT is all about. And also some of the other dance companies. I mean, PNB, we know Pacific Northwest Ballet, shout out to y'all.
Right.
Their intentionality to bring, Black dancers to their stage, to the company. I've been able to really understand it and experience it personally. There
Mhm.
has to be that level of commitment, but I want you to talk about how dance companies are kind of doing that more intentionally nowadays. I think it's something that's kind of hitting the nation a bit with dance companies because they realize, wait a minute, there's a bunch of talent that we're not connecting with,
There you
and
go.
you've been a part of that. But tell us what ABT is and how you're experiencing that with other dance companies.
Well, let me say first, I was one of the original students from P&B when it was just a little storefront on Capitol Hill,
Wow.
and Terry Sparks was the director at the time. So, yeah, I understood even then that this is what I'm going to have to do. This is part of the process. Yeah, I got to take ballet if I really want to be technically proficient, even though I want to do all genres. So, again, with the ABT, American Ballet Theater is what it's called. And at one point, the type of body that they looked for was a European type. And so most Black women and Black men were not that body type. So it was a process that they had to learn, what I mean, that it is possible for a young Black girl to become a ballerina. We just didn't see it. So nowadays, because of resources uh, dwindling, the need was to, incorporate other talents, we can say, of other races so that they could come in and fill those shoes of, the quota,
Mm.
so to speak. So, yeah, but at the same time, we were always striving for excellence.
Mhm.
So therefore, it was not a shortage of being able to find those young Black girls and Black men who were able to come in and fit those roles. Uh, it's been since Arthur Mitchell danced with New York City Ballet, as well as the choreographer that did, which I think most people don't know, that did the original Wiz movie, was also a recipient of New York City Ballet. So we've always been showing up and showing off, but at the same time, now we're being accepted a little bit more for what we do.
Yeah, I think it's so important, but it also brings more diversity to the audience
Oh,
because when
definitely.
we can see ourselves on that stage, I mean, there's nothing like it. A young girl seeing a young Black ballerina, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, wait a minute, I can do it." I remember taking my goddaughter to a show, and it was like the first time they had a Black lead in like a Disney style show, right? Where it's like
Right.
this is the wave that we're seeing now. So thank you to your dedication to the craft, to the industry, everything that you've been able to bring, not just for those who've been able to experience you on that stage, but folks that have really been able to be inspired by your story and the young dancers that I've seen you mentor. I mean, oh my gosh, you had that young phenomenal dancer that was just out there at a community event, fantastic, right? But that's because you're bringing a high level of excellence, and I appreciate the fact that you actually have the desire to connect with young folks and continue the mentorship that was once poured into you. So Wayne, of course, if folks want to know more, maybe they'll be in Florida and they want to know about the show, just how do they connect with you? Look right there and let them know.
Well, um, they can always contact me at jwayneproductions4gmail.com.
Right on.
Yeah,
That's perfect.
definitely.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wayne. It's been a pleasure. I'm so glad we were able to make this happen while you were in town.
It's been my pleasure, really. I
Absolutely.
love you. I think you're great.
Thank you so much. Oh, I get to carry